Star Wars Outlaws has finally gotten in the hands of a number of people, from smaller YouTubers to bigger YouTubers to some journalists. And everyone that's played it has seemed to really enjoy it in some way, shape, or form. Now, they only get a chance to play about 4 to 5 hours, but that's usually a good enough indication. I'll leave links to all the reviews in the description. It seems like people are pleasantly surprised, and that's become a big problem for some folks. People that reviewed the game are like, yeah, I had a real good time. And other people are like, you're a paid shill. You couldn't have enjoyed it. This upsets me. It's good to have a level of skepticism, don't get me wrong. I mean, one YouTuber actually took his video review down because he was getting so many harassing comments just for saying something good about a video game that they enjoyed playing. Sad to see someone fold. People gotta have genuine opinions. And this one's gonna be genuine. It's not gonna get a lot of likes. Boy, it's gonna have a lot more dislikes, I bet. I don't think it's gonna get a lot of views, but you tell me. In today's video, we're gonna talk about that Star Wars Outlaws hate echo chamber. It makes people mad cash. It's big business. There's a whole large ecosystem out there for it. A number of content creators are doing real well on this, and good for them. But in regards to the reaction of dozens of different people getting a chance to play Star Wars Outlaws, they're really reaching to make that cash. They aren't going to be making any money about how happy someone is with a game, especially if it goes against their narrative. So it's in their best interest to trash the game. I'm sure it's a confusing time for these creators, that some people are enjoying Star Wars Outlaws. And knowing that they're criticizing the game in bad faith, well, it really makes their takes and perspective not very genuine. It makes them no different and just as trustworthy as journalists. Let's see this video from a guy who never played the game, calling the game a buggy disaster. I left a link to Hypnotic's full video in the description.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to continue the conversation around Star Wars Outlaws. Now, Star Wars Outlaws is about to get in the hands of players, and of course, all of the shill media, IGN, Kotaku, etc., every single one of them are putting out their videos on it and their articles, and they're all trying to praise this game.
He is not wrong there. The shill media got access to play the game for 4 to 5 hours, and the reviews were quite positive and cautiously optimistic. Was there criticisms? Of course, but it was nice to see that cautious optimism for this Star Wars game. A number of YouTubers were flown to California for an event, and some had a chance to play the game remotely. Now, these YouTubers were upfront to say that, hey, Ubisoft flew us out there, but these are our thoughts. At the end of the day, their audience will hold them accountable if they're full of crap. Take that for what it is. They also had to have their reviews assessed by a third party, which makes sense because the game's not released yet and there's certain parts of the game they weren't allowed to talk about story-wise. One YouTuber was apparently told to remove the statement to say, I really like it and you should pre-order it. They were told to remove the pre-order ask, which makes sense. I don't think they want creators to encourage people to say, hey, you need to buy this game. I think they want the creators to share their thoughts about it. Obviously, I really recommend you check out people actually playing the game, hearing their thoughts, and using that to make an informed decision. And based on the video reviews, which range between 10 and 25 minutes long with piles of gameplay, they are pretty happy with it. Getting some Star Wars / Red Dead Redemption / Splinter Cell vibes from it. I think every review I saw for it was fairly optimistic. The way I see it, it's like conflicting information from two different types of shills. One that hasn't played the game, and it's profitable for them if the game fails, and fails in a big way. If there's a lot of media attention on this really bad game, that's great for content for them. Or do you believe the shill that got flown down to play the game and to present their thoughts on what they thought about that? I think there's risk in both of these and putting all your eggs in one basket, but I would gravitate towards the ones that actually have footage and opinions they have to be accountable for, regardless of the free travel and whatever other perks they might have got. At the end of the day, they're going to have to answer to their audience if they're full of it. Now, I might be super excited for the game, but I'm not going to pre-order it. I never pre-order games. I don't think we're going to get a 10 out of 10 Star Wars Outlaws, but if we get an 8.5 Star Wars Outlaws, I'll be happy. Dark Viper AU, who's not really a shill, he might be a lot of things. He got invited to preview Star Wars Outlaws for 4 hours. They asked nothing of him, and he said it was quite good. He was surprised to see people mindlessly hating on it without playing it. It may not revolutionize gaming, but he'd be shocked if Star Wars fans didn't like it. I don't know, man. A lot of them seem pretty upset about this game even existing. I also put 6 of the video reviews in AI to analyze their feedback, just to get a bit of a cumulative summary. And it supports exactly what you would expect after watching all the videos and taking a look at everybody's feedback. The game looks pretty good. Are there some problems? Sure. Are there some good parts? Sure, and we're going to find out for ourselves in about 3 weeks. So at this point, we've established that the overall feedback from a number of people playing the game has been positive. Let's hear what else he has to say.
Because this is what you call a DEI beautiful, infested nightmare. That's what it is. This game is showcasing exactly what happens when you put DEI first and gameplay second.
There's been nothing indicated in the gameplay around DEI elements, and the gameplay has been generally regarded to be very well. If he could indicate what imaginary woke element of the gameplay hurt him, it might make his argument a little bit stronger. Of course, I can see the problems with a lot of the new Star Wars media. I didn't like the sequels. The shows have been kind of hit and miss for me. I liked Mandalorian, at least the first couple seasons. I loved Andor. I hated Kenobi. I was okay with Ahsoka. And I didn't really watch The Acolyte yet. People say try it. Some people say stay away from it. What do you think? Either way, I'm going to have an open mind, and the game looks pretty fun to me so far. Let's listen to the kind words we know he's going to say about Kay Vess.
Because what happens when you have an androgynous, female, ugly, meant for the modern audience style character leading your game in a IP that was usually meant for the male audience, right? What's gonna happen?
Alright, bro's pretty upset about the way Kay Vess looks and is gonna find the most unflattering shots of her they could possibly find. I think she's kinda cute from what I'm seeing, but I'm looking for Star Wars, not Goon Wars. But hey, some people get upset when their gaming character doesn't look like a Japanese child. In my perfect open world Star Wars game, I would have loved to create my character just so I could be myself in Star Wars, but I totally get if it's a story-based game, just like Red Dead Redemption 2 had Arthur Morgan. They're gonna have a preset character and all that stuff. Now Hypnotic will tell the future.
I don't really need to see the story to know what's gonna happen with this game. It is honestly very easy to see.
He already has his mind made up. This is about content for him, not about a video game. Like myself, I probably won't make another video on this topic. Who knows? But it's definitely not the last video on Star Wars Outlaws we're going to see from him. I can almost guarantee that. But what's more likely is I'll stream the game when it comes out, hang out with my community, and have a good time. You'll notice he has the Park Place Gaming website up, which is a gaming news website. Really the flip side of like a Kotaku or IGN. It's just two sides of the same coin. Bunch of social justice warriors, all of them. Blue hair for everybody. Mainstream gaming websites as well as the Park Place both do the same things. They omit critical details of interesting stories. All to support whatever ideological narrative they want to and support that symbiotic circle jerk. Park Place has 3 or 4 clips on their website showing some weird stuff with the game. Those clips are like in between 9 seconds and 1 minute. The funny thing is though, people really had to reach through these dozens upon dozens of hours of Star Wars Outlaws footage to try to find things that weren't working right. And a few short clips of AI acting strange was the best they could do. Let's take a look at this one.
This is IGN that's trying to tell you that the blaster gameplay is so engaging and so amazing, and yet as you watch this clip, she is literally firing at someone. He's having a seizure, mind you. These two, I don't know what they're firing at, and then as she seemingly reloads or whatever the case may be, he stops having a seizure and says, you know what, I'm gonna go over here.
He legit talks about this 9-second clip for like 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure the guy having seizure got hit with a stun gun. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I expect some level of bugs in a game that hasn't even been released yet. It's wild to me to focus on a 9-second video clip when there's dozens upon dozens of hours out there of the game itself. That people really enjoyed and Hypnotic's like, nah, that offends me. And there's also a bit where he complains about Kay being able to punch a stormtrooper in the helmet and be alright. Fair criticism. If that really bothers him, then that's on him. It's not game breaking for me though. Eventually, after the 3 or 4 clips, he says this.
Bro, I'm done. I'm so done with Star Wars Outlaws. This game is retarded, bro. If you're trying to tell me this is a AAA Star Wars experience, you got a whole nother thing coming.
Hey, I think it's fair to question the price of games and Ubisoft's AAA quadruple A strategy versus the dozens upon dozens of hours of gameplay that's out there that show, well, the game's pretty good. At least from my perspective, but I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. This game is not going to be small either. Roughly 30 hours for a player to beat the story, and for completionists, they're looking at 50 to 60 hours. And that's not including the upcoming DLC packs. Then he seems to get a little bit upset.
If you're shilling for this game right now and you can't point out the obvious retardation of what we just saw happen over these last few clips, then you're just a shill. It is what it is. There's nothing else to it. You're just a shill. It's never going to change. And you're obviously lying to your fan base for money. So
Hypnotic, my man, you mislead your audience all the time by leaving out so much information whenever you try to bring something forward. Both sides shill for money, and you could say I shill for money, but the difference is I'm not really making any money. But get that self-righteous virtue signaling out of here, my man. It's not a good look. While acknowledging those glitchy clips, why not acknowledge the people that enjoyed the game that have played it so far? Call them out for being shills just like you're doing, but you're leaving that part out that they had a really good time. Not all of them are journalists. Some are YouTubers, just like you. Could some YouTubers be influenced by a free trip to California and access to play the game early? Sure. I also think that YouTubers that already have a negative bias towards the game can't really be counted on either. Shills be shillin' on both sides of the respective aisle. I'm just excited to play what's hopefully a decent new game. But at least with the people that have actually played the game, we can get some sort of insight on, well, what's the game going to be like? What are some of the mechanics? What are some good? What are some bad? Not tiny little clips that are pulled from the hours upon hours of gameplay, most of which indicates things working as they should. Go check out Hypnotic's video though if you want to see his commentary on those 3 or 4 bugs. And if you want some actual gameplay and insights on the game itself, I've left links to a number of reviews for those first 4 to 5 hours. I'm interested in your thoughts and I love a good discourse. After considering all the information that you have in front of you, how are you feeling about Star Wars Outlaws? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to play it? Are you not going to play it? What's up? Best advice I have is do your research. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.